As you can tell now, we are now joined by Joey Logano, driver, that number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford for Team Penske. And Joey, before we get into talking about 600 miles of racing in the Coca-Cola 600 on Sunday at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Convoy of Hope, you have it roaring again this Saturday in Charlotte. Could you take a few moments and share what you have going on with the Convoy of Hope on Saturday?
Absolutely. As you guys know, last year, with Joey Logano Foundation, Elevation Outreach, we teamed up and did $1 million response and recovery fund for COVID-19. And, the impact that we were able to make was incredible. One of those things that we did was with Convoy of Hope, which is a great organization. And what we were doing with them was trying to bridge the gap of, how we were showing up to the racetrack without any race fans. In my mind, we were taking and not giving anything back, because typically when NASCAR shows up to town, there's 100,000 people or more, and we're impacting the market with, hotels, restaurants, rental cars, you name it. You guys all traveled. Everything that you do while you're at the racetrack, that's a big impact in their market. And we were just showing up and racing still, but we weren't giving anything back. Convoy of Hope shows up with 30,000 pounds of food and other essentials as well. You think about what this pandemic did. People were relying on food at school for their kids, right? A couple meals a day possibly. And that was gone, and jobs were going away. And this is before there was all this relief stuff that's going on in our government right now. So, this was a huge piece in the moment. And we wanted to do another one here in Charlotte, in our hometown, down at Independence Boulevard, May 29th, 10 o'clock. Down I think it's right in the Bojangles parking lot there. So, and been able to have some great partners. NASCAR Foundation has helped us a lot, with partnering up with these things. Shell has for one as well. So we've had some great supporters, and then had more impact over the last year with the foundation than ever before. It blew away all our projections, and it just shows that how much good is going on in our world right now. So something we're still obviously very passionate about and excited about, and this weekend makes it so special, because I feel like this weekend, to me at least, feels like the grand opening. I feel like we're back. I feel like America's back this week. It couldn't happen to a better weekend, Memorial Day weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Coke 600. To me, this is it. And have our race fans back, and to me, it just feels like the reopening of America. So I'm pretty excited.
Love it. We're going to go into questions now, and our first question is going to come from Claire B. Lang. Go ahead with your question, Claire.
Thank you. Joey, can you talk about your relationship with Charlotte Motor Speedway and the Coca-Cola 600? Like, look at the race as a race with character, right? What's your relationship with it?
Love, hate, I guess. Haven't won it yet, so I think I'd love it more if we were able to win. Been able to run really well at Charlotte, over the years. It's been a really good racetrack for us, whether it's been the Roval or the All-Star race, the BOA 500, whatever it is. Those have been some good ones. I just haven't won the Coke 600 yet, which is the one that stands out for me. Every time I look at a bucket list race, probably Southern 500 and Coca-Cola 600 are ones that, and Brickyard are ones that stand out that really want next. And, I feel like we'll have a great opportunity this weekend. As a Coca-Cola racing family member, throughout all this, you really want to get the win, believe me. So, there's a lot of really cool things that come along with it. So ready to go. I love that it's different. I love that the race, you talked about the relationship. I love that the race is longer than normal, and it's unique. It sets itself apart. That's what makes the Coke 600 special, is because it's different. Just like winning at Coda the first time, or winning, the Bristol Dirt Race for the first time, right? Like those races stand out because they're unique. Well, the Coke 600 is unique in its own way, being longer than every other race. So you really want to try to get, knock off that crown jewel event.
I know you hadn't won it, and last year you were really saying how you wanted to win it, right? What's the relationship when you haven't won a race that big, one of the crown jewels? Does it frustrate you? Do you think about it more? I mean, I know how you prepare for your races, so I don't know if you can do any more to prepare, right?
You really can't do much more. And it's just another race, is the way you kind of have to look at it. Yeah, is there more on the line? It's a bigger race. Of course it is, but you don't do anything different. I don't prepare for the championship race in Phoenix last year any differently than I would the races leading up to it, right? The goal is still the same. The goal never changes, so you don't have to change the way you prep. The goal is to win, period, done, that's it. So the mission is, how do you do that? How do you figure out how to do that? It doesn't matter what race it is. And, this might be a little bit more on the line this week.
Well, I wish you good luck. Just go have fun. You know what to do. Thank you so much, all right?
Thanks.
Our next question is going to come from Bob Pockris. Go ahead with the question, Bob.
Yeah, Joey, how did the damp weather tire test go at Richmond? And did you feel it was productive?
Yeah, it was productive. I think we learned some things. It's not as simple as we all think it is. Go figure, right? Everything's a little more complicated than it looks on the outside. But I think after COTA, the main thing was not the tire. The tire's got pretty good grip. It's about the spray, right? The mist. You can't see the vision. That's what we had to fix. And I texted O'Donnell after the race and said, "You got mud flaps for this test tomorrow?" Because that was something I thought would possibly help. And all three teams showed up with their version of a mud flap, and all three very different, which was great to see. And we went out there and saw things I've never seen before. I've seen water trucks on racetracks before, but they've always been dirt. Never seen a water truck on an asphalt racetrack. So I feel like I've seen it all now. And we went out there and learned a lot. The mud flaps kind of adjust the spray, but it doesn't completely eliminate the spray. So we need to try to figure that out. But I think the biggest thing we realized is when we put slick tires on it. The slicks were obviously very slick. Cars were undrivable, but there was no spray. So that means it's coming from the treads on the tire. So maybe there is a less aggressive tread pattern that allows us to have grip. We need that as well, but maybe can eliminate some of the spray. The mud flaps help some. It just kind of changes where the spray is coming out. So I feel like we made some good gains and learned some things to go back and try again. But still probably a lot of work to do there to get it to where we can see. That's the biggest thing. And understanding how wet we can go back racing, because maybe it's not that the goal is maybe different than what we think. Maybe it's not that we're racing in downpouring rain, but maybe we can race on those racetracks when it's still damp and go out there and race then, and the track dry off quicker and not have fans sitting there waiting for the track to dry. The air Titans are great, but they're not that entertaining. So, trying to get the race back going is probably the number one goal and probably the most achievable goal at this moment.
And on Sunday, was a lot worse than was practice on Saturday. I mean, you all were joking about couldn't see, but then it seemed like Sunday it was like, man, this is a dangerous we couldn't see.
Well, when we were practicing and it was raining probably just as hard as it was in the race or close to it, we were by ourselves, and then if you got, if you're going on that straightaway between 11 and 12, going at 150 miles an hour and no one's in front of you, it feels pretty safe, feels fine to me. But when you're going 150 miles an hour and you can't see 30 feet in front of you, well, it doesn't feel too comforting anymore, right? It feels a little unsafe at that moment. So the closer you are to the front, the better it was. But once you were further back than 7th or 8th, good luck. You couldn't see anything, and we've seen some pretty scary crashes because of that. So lessons learned there, I think for everybody, and so we move forward from that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think we've been to a road course where you're going that fast, right? When it's slow, do the S's through, the slower parts of the track, no problem, no spray, everything's good. It's just when we started going fast and, the tires are pumping so much water, out from underneath the car, boy, it just comes to the point you just can't see where you're going.
Our next question is going to come from Dustin Wong. Go ahead with the question, Dustin.
Thank you. Joey, in regarard to that test on Monday, Goodyear talked to Goodyear at COTA that, because of all the use of the wet weather tires at COTA, that was the tire that would be used at a short oval, and that the logistics would then make it less likely to have enough tires prepared for potentially New Hampshire if everything was in a go position to even try it. If that doesn't work, the next short oval would be a playoff race. So at this point as a competitor, is it your feeling that if something's not ready for before the playoffs, it should not be tried in the playoffs and should be pushed back to next year at this point?
It's a fair question. That's news to me about running out of tires. I feel like, when someone's backs up against the wall, they figure out a way. So I feel like, yeah, maybe there might not be tires now, but if put the full court press on them, I bet there'd be tires. But I also think understanding we got to fix the spray issue first. That's it, and before we talk about what race we're bringing it to, and playoff races or regular races, we first got to figure out how to make it safe enough to be able to see where we're going. That's number one priority. Once we fix that, I'm fine with racing it. We're at, if we feel confident in the tire that it's going to stay, in one piece and not come apart, and we feel, confident we're going to be able to see and not going to have some freak crash like we had last week, have at it. I don't care what race we start at it, as long as we feel confident in that. And that's up to us as a sport to understand when that moment is and when the green light it. And at this moment, I don't think we're there, but I don't think we're far away from it. And like I said earlier, is the goal going back to where the track's just damp? Can we do that? Maybe we can. Maybe that's actually something that we can do. But racing in the rain, we're not there yet, but we can be, but we're not yet.
Also, this weekend looks to be a big temperature difference from when you'll be on the track Friday for practice to when you'd start the race on Sunday, at least the early forecast. Certainly, weather plays a big factor in this sport in a lot of ways. You benefited with your first win. And I'm curious, as you look back in your career, how has weather challenged or thwarted you, whether it's rain or whether it's, the weather change drastically from practice to qualify, and how has it helped you?
You brought it up. I won one race because of the rain. That was, 12 years ago, 13 years ago? It was a long time ago. I thought we were really good at calling the weather for a minute, but it's been a while since I've been able to cash in on another one of those. But yes, you brought it up, and the weather is what it is. We can't change it. Trying to call a race or set up your car to the weather is very, very challenging. All you can do is go back on your notes of, maybe what hot temperatures compared to cool temperatures are and what it does to your balance, and try to, adjust to that. That's where experience, I think, really pays off. So, and keeping good notes can really help with that stuff. So that's unique, but boy, we didn't have, last week was the most unique scenario of all time. Practice in the rain, go qualify when it's dry. I don't even know where to hit the brakes, and and then go race in damp, then pouring rain at the end. We went through all the weather that you can possibly go through last week, and you just have to adapt quickly. And I think the communication back to your crew chief, making adjustments to the car, making adjustments to your driving style, all has to happen really, really quick. To be able to stay up front or get yourself up front and take advantage of the opportunity that's there.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Michelle Martinelli. Go ahead with your question, Michelle.
Joey, you guys win a lot of cool trophies for different races. What do you think of the vintage vending Coke machine that comes with all the other prizes for the winner of the Coke 600?
That one's super cool. I wish I had one. I see him. I saw Brad take a picture with his or something this week on his social, and I thought, man, I want that. I was a little jealous. So I want to be able to do that. Like I said, part of the Coca-Cola racing family. I really want one of those things. So that's definitely, to me, a unique little gift, and something that you'll most likely have the rest of your life, and have a really cool story behind it. How you got it.
Is that something that you would put with the rest of your trophies, or would you do something a little different with it since it's functional?
I don't know. I'd like to have that problem to know what to do with it. I don't know. I'll figure it out when it happens.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Our next question is going to come from Alex Andrea. Go ahead with your question, Alex.
Hey, Joey. This is kind of about practice and qualifying. I mean, this is going to be the first race that, I guess, besides Daytona, Bristol Dirt, and this past weekend at COTA, that you're at just kind of a regular oval. Does it feel like this will either be more beneficial to have practice and qualifying, or more of a return to normal in that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some normalcy there. I mean, you have 50 minutes. It's not a lot, but you have some time to tweak on your car, believe me, there's plenty of things that I think every team wants to try after racing this way for, over a year now of, going to these 550 racetracks. And, I always kind of say it's a little bit of shooting from the hip, in a certain way of not knowing, what to do to your car and kind of scared to try something way outside the box without practice. So this gives you the chance to A/B a couple things and see if we can make some gains. So I look forward to the practice a lot, especially at this racetrack. And then, as far as qualifying, here with the 550, you're most likely going to be pinned all the way around. So you're going to have what you have. Qualifying will still be a little different than normal. Than what normal is on a 750 track for us. But what you got is what you're going to have there.
And then you kind of mentioned how you feel like America's going to be back again this weekend. There are obviously no fans at last year's Coke 600. How much of a difference, I guess, does it make to have kind of full grandstands?
It's everything to our sport. It is so big. TV viewership is important, don't get me wrong, but having fans at the facility that we are racing is huge, bigger than I think anyone puts any kind of number on. When you think of having your fans there, having your sponsors there, the experience at the Midway, the energy that the people bring to the racetrack, that's what our sport was built on, right? There was fans at the racetrack before there was any TV deal, and that's what I think is so important to have, our fans back and cheering, booing, screaming, whatever, just making noise, right? That's I miss it. I miss it so much. I've hated last year. I hated how we're showing up to a racetrack with nobody there. Yeah, it just doesn't even feel right. It's just kind of just feels off. So I said it last week. I've never been so excited to sit in traffic leaving COTA. I didn't think I could be happy about sitting in traffic, and I left. I was like, wow, look at all the people that were here. There's cars lining up on the road trying to get out of here. I'm like, this is great. You learn to really love the stuff that you miss sometimes, and that's definitely one of them. So I'm excited about this weekend for sure.
Yeah, at least you don't have to go far in traffic then, hopefully, this weekend.
I don't even care.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Michael Shelton. Go ahead with your question, Michael.
Thank you very much. Well, of course, Joey, as you know, one of the great traditions of the Coca-Cola 600 is the salute to the military, especially before the race. And last week you had the chance to meet virtually with troops from American Forces Network Pacific and the U.S. Army 38th Air Defense Artillery Brigade from Japan. And you watched them conduct simulated weapons training and tactical combat casualty training exercises. We know how much supporting the troops and recognizing the military means to NASCAR, but what does supporting the troops and recognizing the military mean to you personally?
It's been an amazing experience for me. I feel like I'm so lucky for a lot of different reasons. One, to live in this amazing country to where we can live and have our own little problems that we think are so big while someone's fighting problems for us that's so much bigger than that. And the selfless acts that our military shows for us, and we don't even know it. I've been fortunate enough to go on a few USO tours over the years, do that experience you just talked about, and ask questions and learn about their commitment, about their focus, their preparation. Is second to none. They are very special individuals to be able to work the way they do. And that's what this weekend's about. I completely hate when people say Memorial Day weekend, such a big racing weekend. No, it's not. Nobody cares about that. That's not what it's about. It's about saluting our military. We do a great job at the NASCAR race and the NASCAR Salutes program in the Coke 600 to show the appreciation that we are doing what we are doing today. We are racing the Coke 600 today because of the men and women that fight for us. And we really put that example in front of everybody to remember that. I wish that happened every day. The more I learn about the military, the more I've gotten to be, around it and understand it, the more I've learned to appreciate them, and think about, boy, how lucky we are to have our problems, right? I mean, think about how lucky you are to think about, boy, for me, my kid doesn't want to go to school today. that's a pretty lucky problem to have, when you think about what the alternative can be, or my car's too tight. It's just a different, it's a different way of thinking, and you have to take yourself out of your own little world sometimes. Memorial Day to me is about that. It's about, showing honor and respect, and for our country. In today's day and age, we don't do that enough, not even close to enough. And this is an important weekend for I think all of us to take a step back and understand that.
Thank you. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
Our final question is going to come from Woody Kane. Go ahead with the question, Woody.
Hey, Joey, appreciate your time. Wanted to look ahead a week to Sonoma. It's hard to believe it's been almost 2 years since we were there. It seems like 100 with everything that's gone on, but with the wildfires and the pandemic, and, you guys even talk about how much the cars change week to week. Is it going to seem like a completely new event? And what are your expectations for heading out there?
Yeah, well, last time we were out there, we had the high downforce. So that's a big difference as well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to going back out there. I always love to go into Sonoma. It's a beautiful area, obviously, and the racetrack is fun. I always looked at it as a short track of road courses. You don't have a bunch of speed, you got a lot of tire wear, you got the bumping and banging going on. Your cars, you're trying to accelerate with forward drive. It's a tough place. And so that makes it, to me, a fun challenge and different than every other road course we go to. Right now, most of the road courses we go to have a fair amount of speed, where Sonoma doesn't. So it's a unique one and a fun one, and I miss it. I miss going out there. So gonna be a lot of new changes out there, and no practice. So well, here we go again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Joey, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Good luck with the Convoy of Hope on Saturday and on Sunday, the Coca-Cola 600.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. See you soon.
Take care now.